We're live. We are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Friday night chat. How are we all keeping? Um, Slowly wait for people to start rocking in. I'm just going to be doing some bits and bobs here, but I'm waiting for people. I'm just cleaning some boots that really needed to be cleaned. Thing about collecting and having like collection room, I suppose. There's a lot of maintenance goes on in it between keeping the dreaded mopped out, just making sure stuff is clean and presentable and tidy, and a lot of the stuff is getting old and you need to look after it. Don't look after it, it ruins it, and then whatever you've invested into it goes out the window. So you just need to tidy things up and keep things clean. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just doing a spot of DIY general tidying while I'm waiting for people to show up. So I hope you've all been keeping well. I hope you've all had a good week. Things have been busy, like everything else. Like everyone's getting busy these days. It's just that time of year, really. I'm starting to come to that dreaded C word, that Christmas, when for some reason prices on absolutely everything skyrocket and go through the absolute bloody ceiling, which I can never figure out. It's crazy. I might only stay on for half an hour tonight. It depends. We'll see how many people turn up. But the half an hour, God, I can't speak. The half an hour lives at the moment seems to be good for people. Andrew Fox, hello, John. Just wondering, really, are you legally out to own rifle pistol magazines in Ireland? Yes, but they have to be either deactivated or they have to be, I think it's 5 round capacity. As far as I know, now don't quote me on that. I don't know the law 100%, but it is legal to have them under certain requirements. Like it is, the firearms laws in Ireland are very strict. I won't lie there. You need to be a member of a gun club. You have for certain types of things you have to complete specific training. You can have semi-automatic, if I remember correctly. I hope Jude comes in because he probably knows the laws a bit better than me. You can have semi-automatic, but you can't have repeating. And things like that. But there are ways around the law, shall we say. Stan is fueled on red wine and ready to rock. Hello, Stan. How are you? So you couldn't have a 30-round M16 mount. You can. There's nothing to say you can't have it, but it has to be either pinned or deactivated. That it can't be used in a weapon or in a firearm. Or if it was to be used, it would only be you'd only be able to have a 5 round capacity magazine. You can have 30 rounds, you can have 20 rounds, you can have whatever you want, but there are requirements. It has to be pinned. So what they'll do is basically they'll either drive a pin straight through it that you can't lower the lever and things like that, and stuff like that. So it is a lot stricter. Stricter than the UK then. Yes, Irish gun laws are very strict. Would it be similar to the UK's? I'm not 100% sure. Or DX and stuff like that compared to the British would be similar once they're EU spec. They have this old, what's it called? Historical cartridge category or something, or so they can have a live firearm in a caliber that is no longer mid or something like that. Like forgive the technical norm. We don't have that here. You can't have that here. You can either have a live weapon or you can have a deactivated. That's it. There's no in between. Obsolete caliber. There we go. That's the word. Understand? That's what I was looking for. There's no in between. if you were to purchase an airsoft pew pew in Ireland, it has to fire under 1 joule, so it has to fire under 328 feet per second. That's across the board. Anything nail guns, the nail guns detect the blanks. I believe in Ireland you have to have a special permit for those as well, because they are actually classified as a firearm in Ireland. But airsoft guns are a way for collectors. Oh, excuse me, in Ireland to get props, shall we say? But other than that, you can have DX. Some DX are harder to get than others, but you can. Where are we then? Terry Savalas. Hello, friends. Hello, Terry. How are you? Andrew Fox. I got several mags, SLR, Thompson mags, AK mags, for example. So if you're in Ireland, you'd have to have them pinned if you wanted to resell them, if they weren't already done. Or you could only put a block in them so that they're 5-round capacity. But to do Stan, hello to Terry Savalas. Did you heard about the US Marine that went berserk last week in the USA? You heard voices in your head. We don't talk about politics here, Terry, and we don't talk about things like that because certain people lost their lives, and it's not fair to talk about things like that. So we just don't. Bayonets you can own. Sorry, Andrew. You can own bayonets in this country. You can own swords. You can have pretty much a decent collection, and you can have military collecting. To import and export stuff, you have to have special permits and things like that. But yeah, I've like a very common one nearby because we have a big Norman castle. They have a like Viking reenactors, Norman reenactors, Crusaders, things like that. So they always have swords and stuff hanging off them, big spikes, that whatever you want to call them. Also, hello, Andrew Fox. Sorry, answer that one. Same here in the UK. Bayonets and swords are fine. They are perfectly fine. Jude, hello, Jude. How are you? Jude, there was a question asked there a few minutes ago because you're more up on the law for me. The magazine capacity in Ireland for a live weapon has to be 30 rounds, or sorry, 5 rounds. For a deactivated weapon, is there a limit? Or is there an actual limit in a magazine if you don't have a weapon for it? Or a pew pew for it, shall we say. The Dutch NATO camo comes close to the British camo DPs. I'm not sure. I haven't seen them, so I can't tell you. I can't tell you what they're like. Hello, Jude. Hello, Stan. 10 rounds. So 10 rounds for a live pew pew. I don't think there's a capacity on DX because there's no need for magazine capacity on the DX. But Trace West still understand. Hi, mate. How are you? Inert ammo is okay to own in Ireland as well. That now I don't know. I don't have any inert ammo. You can have inert ammo. There are certain things like if shirt, let's say like a 155 artillery shell or a 105 I don't know if they've changed it, but I know at one stage you could have the head and you could have the shell, but you couldn't put the two of them together. So what guys were doing was they were making timber shells, timber heads for the shell, timber projectiles for the shells, and they were putting them together. There was a way around it. I don't know if that's changed since. For DX, not limit. Okay. Terry Swellis, yeah, I'm good, mate. Drinking alcohol. Oh, I've got no internet, John. Oh, you've got no inerts, John. I don't have inerts. I have brass, but I don't actually have inerts. I have movie props, but I don't have actual inerts. I have trench art as well, but I don't have a head, shall we say. Um, I have standard mags for my AKs. That's not prepaid. Yeah, so I know if I. Just a question that was asked there, Jude, about magazine capacities and stuff like that. In Ireland as well, it's not really the firearm that is restricted, or the pew pew. I keep saying this, but it is not really the weapon firearm pew pew that is restricted. It is the ammunition that is restricted. It's not the actual item that uses the ammunition. Um, Once it is semi-auto, or is it single shot? I can't remember. You can have semi-auto because I know I used to have a semi-auto shotgun, so I know you can have semi-auto. Um, for rifles, I'm not sure, because I only ever had bolt action rifles, so I'm not 100%. But I think they can only, for every pull of the trigger, you can only get one round. I'm not sure on the likes of the SLRs and stuff like that. Do they treat them as bolts, so that you have to recock them every time? I'm not 100% sure. Jude might know better, actually. Still understand, are you on drinking beer? No, he's drinking wine, I think he said. New War series has been released on Netflix, entitled All Light We Can See. I haven't seen. I've seen it advertised, but I haven't watched it. All semi-auto rifles are prohibited now. Okay, so shotguns or shotgun, like if you have a semi-auto shotgun, can you still have one of them? Because I used to have one. I had a pump shotgun as well at one stage. Um, what was I going to say? Yeah, there's another one that I was watching. I started watching. I can't remember the name of it, but it's on Netflix as well, and it's about celebrities. Um, it's a bit like that "Who Do You Think You Are" thing, but it's like celebrities looking at their war relations, shall we say, their family members that had served in war, um, which I need to get around to looking at as well. There was a rumor that the authorities were going to make ammo parts illegal, but as far as I'm aware, it's against the law if you have ammo making equipment or collectors. So collectors are okay. In Ireland, you're allowed. You could, unless it's changed again. But I used to make my own shotgun shells. You were allowed to make shotgun shells. I used to have press and everything. I know of competition shooters. When I was shooting a lot, they would make their own rounds, their own competition rounds. So as far as it was never illegal not to be able to make rounds in Ireland, if I remember, unless it's changed since, but it wasn't. But that's it. They haven't changed it because it's like the weather here. They changed everything else. At one stage, hand pew pews were allowed. Then they capped them. So in each area, you could have a hand pew pew, and then they capped it so you could only have whatever 100 in a county, and then when those people died off or grandfathered off or whatever, that was it. So say if I handed back my hand pew pew, somebody else on the waiting list could get that permit. I could give it to my son, or I could give it to somebody else, as in I could grandfather it off. But that was the only way you could do it. I think you can still get them, but they are very, very restricted. You have to have an unbelievable reason why you want one, or why you need one. I know deer hunters, registered deer hunters, were allowed carry one. for culling if they come up on a wounded animal. Because, and I know the guys, because a friend of mine actually, or a guy who lives up the road, he's a butcher, and he actually has to have a license for a humane killer, because I know he's been called out sometimes for accidents where deer have been hit or cars have been hit and things like that. And it's actually it is, for the want of a better word, it's a 9mm round that they put into that thing. So yeah. Where have we gone? Semi-auto shotguns can still be licensed here. Okay. Then I think I missed a few questions there. One second. Oh God. What am I doing? What am I doing? Just scroll. There we go. Semi-auto rifles are prohibited. That's the ammunition question from Steel. I understand. The next one is: do you also have military equipment for the Low Countries, Norwegians, Belgians, Luxembourg? The only Cold War stuff I have is I have a bit of East and West Germany. Would be the only European stuff that I have, and that's sort of a side collection. I haven't concentrated on it in a while. Like I could, because stuff that price of that stuff is going up. I said it at the start of a couple of months back, or a couple of weeks back even, that I'm sort of concentrating on streamlining the collection, because I ended up collecting random bits and having random stuff all over the place. So I need to. I started streamlining. So I'm sticking to First World War, Second World War, Vietnam for the Australians, and Up Banner. Those four. Those four collecting areas, and as I said, the Cold War, East and West Germany, sort of a side thing. I do have other collections. Like I have a massive headdress collection, as you know, because I put up regular enough videos now because of the weather and stuff. I haven't been able to do much filming outside, but I started to do a headdress of the week for the last couple of weeks. I have a huge headdress collection. That came pretty much as the first thing I started collecting. When I started collecting anything in the military, I started collecting headdress because I was in the military, and it was an easy thing to swap. If you had a beret, swap it with somebody else, or guys being overseas, you could swap them, things like that. So that's how I started my collecting, really. Wine, beer, I'm not fussy. Semi-auto shotguns can still be licensed here. Okay, cool. Did SS shell casings also exist in the 1930s? As far as I know, at one point in time in the Second World War, the SS did have their own ammunition suppliers, or their own allotments of ammunition, and I believe it was marked SS. I know a lot of their stuff, like jerry cans and things like that, they were specifically marked for them. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did, because I know at the start of the war, and when the guy with the little funny mustache came into power, those two units, the regular army and the SS, were competing against each other. So it would make sense that they were using their own ammunition, because the German Wehrmacht didn't want to give them or deal with them, really. So it wouldn't surprise me that they had their own ammunition. I actually got a thing from Tom Burnell this morning, if you remember him. I do remember Tom. He wrote a book about the Tipperary First World War casualties. This morning, if you remember him, John, it was a widow's pension application for a widow of a Steins who was killed in the Somme. Oh, very interesting. I know Tom. Has a lot to do with the Irish Military Vehicles Group. So did I meet him? I met him in England actually at one time. I met him at, was it Yorkshire? I think it was Yorkshire. I met him actually. It was regarding criminals making up rounds out of old brass, etc. So you can imagine the problem with inert rounds. Now they are saying inerts are okay, but if a person has a capacity to make ammo, it's not that easy to make them. You need special equipment. You need a press. There was a hammer thing to separate heads. You need powder. It's not there. That's not easy to get. You need the blasting caps or the percussion caps. They're not easy to get. It's not an easy process, believe it or not, to actually make them. Then that's different. I'm not sure what that's in relation to Stan. Jude, centerfire pistols are to be licensed here now either since. Centerfire pistols can't be licensed here now either since 2009. Bloody hell! So the laws have changed a lot since I was involved in the pew pew industry. Still understand working to the top of the pops. Now then, guys and girls. Top Gun, top fan. NVA is cool, John. Yeah, I have a lot of NVA. Stan. I've swapped some stuff with Stan. Stan sort of got me interested. I had some bits and bobs, but he got me really interested in collecting it. And a guy by the name of David pops in every now and again. They got me really, really interested in the Cold War stuff. So yeah. No telly, that's in old days for sure. Butty, 1980. It's great to see an Irish military collector YouTube page. One of the biggest, if not the biggest, Iron Cross collectors is Irish. Really? I did not know that. That's very interesting. One of the biggest collectors is Irish. I was actually looking on Google there the other day, because a lot of people like the museum series that I do, going around to different museums and stuff like that. And I was trying to find military museums in Ireland, and I found two, one in the Curragh and one in the Irish Military Museum or something it's called, in Sligo. Outside Dublin. Is it Sligo? They were the two I found. Curragh's the main one, which is owned by the army. And then there's this one, private one. I do know that they have some military items in Spike Island in Cork, which is a prison, but it was a military fortress. So I might go out there and do a video. Not this time of year though. There are a few up the north. There's the Somme Heritage Museum. There, excuse me. There is the Royal Ulster Rifles Museum that I haven't got to. There is the Irish Fusiliers Museum that I haven't got to. And I think I'm not sure, in Lurgan, is there a Paddy Mayne Museum? So I might try and get around to them and do them as well. Still understand top of the pops. Cool. Push the thumb, mate. Can you explain why the subdued insignia was introduced in the US military during the Vietnam War? Thus, the black coloured rank marking is a big question. Quite simple, camouflage. You're wearing big shiny bars and big shiny stripes on your sleeve and a white name tag or a white name tape and a black and gold USMC tape, gold patches on your arms, for whatever brightly coloured unit patches. It's to do with camouflage. They're easy to see. There is no colours, shall we say. There is no, what's the word? There was an abbreviation we learned when we were in the army about to see something was shape, shine, shadow, silhouette, and surface. So the shape of something, nothing in nature is perfectly round or perfectly square or anything like that. It's shape, shine, the shine off of something. So obviously camouflage if you're wearing bright coloured things. Silhouette is like if you silhouette something against the skyline, easy make out. Surface, that's why you see guys camouflaging their helmets and stuff because nothing in in nature is perfectly shining and things like this. Shape, shine, shadow, silhouette, and surface. Shadows as well. Shadows moving and being hiding in shadows is the best place to be rather than going, hi, I'm here. Um, Lacking insignias. That's why it was camouflage, nothing more, nothing less. The old brass and earth stuff is to do with that they are going to make it illegal, but now I think that if they have machinery, press, etc., yeah, they could do it. They could be done. Could be done. Uh, Reloading here is legal, but it's so expensive to be legally compliant. It's not worth doing. I can reload at the club I'm a member of. I wanted to reload for my martini or Beaumont. Yeah, I'd say to try and find martini ammo would be absolutely fantastic today. There's another military museum in Carrolltown. Oh, is there? I'll give that one a look up. So thank you, Jude. Uh, Terry, look, I was watching We Were Soldiers dated 1965 and with shiny badges and coloured patches. Then, but when did it happen? When did the change around happen? 67, 68, I think. And other armies then followed suit. It started with like when they initially went to Vietnam, they were wearing black Corcoran jump boots, which leather, which weren't exactly good for the jungle, and their regular barrack dress, which was called OD 107, which was their uniform, which was a barrack dress. That's why they all had all their shiny little badges on it. It wasn't actually technically a tactical uniform. Um, it wasn't until the Poplins came in um, uniform that they actually had a physical combat uniform, and that's when the changes started. And that was I gotta say 60, late 66, 67 when they started changing that stuff. Um, yeah. Um, I'm missing something. Where are we? Cheers, Jude. I was just concerned about my mountain of inert brass that I thought I'd have to hide in. No, you'll be okay, Stan. Stan, inert brass should be drilled, so the law will never question it. Yeah, that's true. Um, Terry, but are you in the bushes? But you are in the bushes in the jungle. How do you camouflage your glasses? Uh, you'll be very surprised. A lot of guys. I can't actually. Did we have many infantry lads when I was in the war glasses? There was the odd one or two. Um, there was the odd one or two. I remember they were. We used to call them contraception proof. Um, there was not in the Irish Army. If the Irish Army you could wear your own glasses or whatever, but some armies would physically issue you glasses. The Americans was a famous one. It was big brown, big black frames on them, and they used to call them contraceptive glasses because no girls would go near you with these things on. But yeah, but they adapt. Believe it or not, they figure out ways. I know one guy that was uh, when he had to, inside his boon, he had like a little veil that he could drop down to about here. Would cover his glasses. Little scrim scarf veil type thing. But yeah, so there was ingenious ways of doing things. Hey Jude, I got that. I lived in Australia for years, and that was the law. All the brass not drilled through. I think is it in Belgium or France? There's one of the two that where the primer is. They'll drill through that, so the brass looks like brass. When you turn upside down, there's a hole at the bottom. They drill out the primer. As part of their law, I think I'm nearly positive it's Belgium. Yeah. Just got a load of 1990 pattern webbing. Any info? Is it the green stuff? I don't know what my one is. The PLC, or is it the camouflage PLC? It's probably, if it's PLC, it's 90. You have two variants. You have the green one and you have the camouflage one. PLC stands for personal load carrying equipment. And then you have CMO, which was close order close combat marching order. Sorry, you have CFO, close combat fighting order, and CMO, close order marching order, which was the backpack and the rockets that fit onto the side of it and stuff like that. So if it's PLC weapon, or you should have a yoke, which goes over your shoulder. You'll have a belt with a buckle on it. You will have either one or two ammo pouches left and right. You'll have a water bottle pouch, and you'll have a utility pouch, which is a bigger water bottle pouch, pretty much. And you will either have a gas mask holder, haversack, for want of a better word. I don't know where my one is, on the back. We used to wear them on the back. British lads wore them on the sides, I think, and then they wore everything else on the. Yeah, so it's PLC. It's called personal load carrying equipment. If that helps any bit, Stan. Shoot me some pictures tomorrow or this evening or whatever, and because I know you have my number, and we can figure it out. Still understand the Memphis Belle movie. It's from 1990. Terry, you are a movie guru when it comes to stuff like that, because I wouldn't have a clue when that movie came out. Justine Stan, I wouldn't worry too much. Sure, we give the spent blank brass out to kids reenactment. That is true. That is a thing in Ireland that does happen. Nice glasses story. Yeah, yeah, used to do that. I don't ever remember any of the other lads doing anything with their glasses, but I know he did that. Nylon green. So if it's nylon green, it's the early PLC webbing, which would have been around Gulf War 1. So you're talking 1990, 1991, because I know some of the rear units and the non-teeth units, shall we say, that went out to the Gulf were still wearing 58 pattern. Some of them were still armed with SLRs. They hadn't even got the SA-80s. So it was very early 90s when that stuff started to change around. I think it was around... It could have been when they had all the changes for the Soldier 95 that it went from green to DPM. I'm almost not 100% sure. If Andrew Johnson was here now, he might know better. But I'm almost positive it was around then. I think it was around when the Soldier 95 stuff came in that it went from green to DPM. So yeah. I've just been watching Jarhead 2, but what a dull, boring war film that was. I've seen it. I didn't even know there was one. Butty 1980, yes, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Iron Cross collectors in the world. He is the world-renowned by collectors and dealers when it comes to Iron Crosses. That's cool, actually. You must, but I must do a bit more inquiring about that, because that would be, if we could do a video on that collection, that would be fantastic. Still understand? Will do. Yeah, no problem, Stan. Send me a message. Jude, I've been watching a pretty good show on Netflix called Woman at War. You should give it a go. Okay, I will actually. Woman at War. Hang on. Is that about nurses? Have I seen that one? Is that about nurses being taken prisoner in by the Japanese? Because I know there was one of them on Netflix that I watched. I can't remember if it was that one. I bought a German Bundy cap for £2, Flecktarn cap. The lady who sold it to have money, and I was lucky. It looks a bit like a World War II 943 cap. Yeah, that is an NCO one, if it's the one I'm thinking of. If it looks like the German M43, it is the NCO one, because the privates wore what's called a garrison cap, which goes this way, and the NCOs and officers wore, for want of a better word, a baseball cap, M43, or what looks like an M43. Terry Savalas, bought in 1980. I saw an 1870 Iron Cross in Belgium, but I couldn't afford it. It cost €600. Like gallantry awards, uh, like the British Victoria Cross and the Military Medal and the George Cross and all these gallantry medals. Um, a Victoria Cross, if you were ever lucky enough to ever even hold one of them or see one, well, I've seen a few of them in museums and stuff, but to actually physically hold one, they're about $250,000 each. If you do get to see one, um, Victoria Crosses there. A lot of even the regular owners that have them keep them in banks. I know the one of the guys in England. Oh God, I can't think of his name. I can see his face. He got injured in the head in Iraq driving a Warrior. I think he's actually Fijian as well. But I know the regiment holds onto his medal in their museum, or the regimental museum, or whatever, in the officers' mess. And he gets it when he needs it. I think he wears a copy a lot of the time. He was saying one time in an interview, for going around to shows and things like that, or going to talks, because he's afraid he'll lose it. Because you could, I suppose, get another one if you needed it, but I don't know about a Victoria Cross. But most of the time for like if he was meeting somebody, he said, from the royal family, or a politician, or if he was at a big show, meeting other veterans and things like that, or giving a speech, he'd wear the correct VC, his original VC he was awarded from the Queen at this stage, the late Queen. But if he was just at informal functions and stuff like that, it's a copy he actually wears, because he's afraid he'll lose the original. Those Bundeswehr uniforms are cool. There, I do like the Bundeswehr stuff. Just signs no, it's set in France, the beginning of the Great War. Nurses and nuns going to the front to volunteer, or moving closer to the front to prevent their services, provided services. I must look it up, actually. What you say, was ladies at war or women at war or something? Jude Steins, I'll look it up. Terry Savalas, are you planning to go to the largest military fair in Belgium? This was put back on my agenda at the end of April. Back on the agenda in April 2024. I don't know. I plan on going to Stoneleigh in January, which is the biggest UK one. So I don't know. Soldier of Fortune and Regimentals are also in. Yeah, I might go. We'll see. I don't know, because I have a lot of family commitments as well this year, so I need to plan everything. And then there's a lot of top quality shows that I want to get to, which is a nuisance. I plan on getting to Odyssey this year, because I was never at Odyssey. I really, really need to get back up to the Scottish lads, Andrew Johnson and them. So I plan on doing a show with them, whether it be Yorkshire or Beamish or one of those ones that they do. I would probably do one of them. I'm involved in the running of the and helping out with the Living History UK festival. And then I've already been invited back to the We Have Ways festival. So that's four festivals, 4 weekends away in England, plus plus Stoneleigh. Did I say Stoneleigh? Stoneleigh, Odyssey. The show with the lads in the north. We Have Ways, and the Living History cast. That's 5. So that's 5 shows, 5 weekends away, 5 really expensive weekends for me because I either have to drive over or fly over, and then feed myself and accommodate myself for those couple of days. So yeah. So if there are any people out there that would like to invest in the channel, please let me know. Soldier Fortune and them, they'd be at Stoneleigh, and there'd be a lot of the shows as well in England. Women at War 1990. Okay, I'll have to look at that one. I'm planning on having a French section of the Irish Brigade display ready for Command Day in Collins Barracks this coming April. I mean, I should go to more Irish shows as well. It could be a plan. I'll try and get to Cavan again. I'll try and get to Naas if it's on. The Cork show, I believe, is on this year. It wasn't on last year. Sorry, this year, next year, shall we say? But we'll see. I'm only one man. I've only so many weekends, and I can only be in so many places. It is nice. It's nice, and it's good in the fact that I have come along and met people and been introduced to people, and the fact that I seem to know, I don't say know everything, but I know a certain amount of stuff that people find interesting at these shows, and I've been invited to them, so it's cool. But you will come to Arnhem in September 2024, John. Market Garden Community. We were planning on a Holland trip next year, but it looks like it mightn't go ahead. We'll see. We'll have to see. We will have to see. Because I know we were planning on doing we were planning on going into Normandy, do Normandy, and actually following the advance. So going from there to Caen, across, and then we were sort of going to break a small bit of the, shall we say, the events, fly down to the Somme, have a look at the Somme, fly up to Ypres, have a look at Ypres, and then carry on the events across then the Rhine, and on into Germany, or go up via Holland, Amsterdam, and or Arnhem, I should say, not Amsterdam, and so we'll see. Collins Barracks also always have a parade for former Legionnaires every April for Cameron Day. It's April 29th. Oh, I must go look at that. That would be interesting. You are welcome in Holland, John. Thank you very much. Thank you, Terry Savalas. Thank you. Right, guys. So, Jesus, it's 10 to 9. We've been rambling all evening. So if you want to just shoot me a quick question or anything like that, that's fine. If not, we'll log off. We'll call it quits for the night. And I will see next week Friday because I have work commitments. I'll reschedule. Just keep an eye out for the posts of what day will be. If it's not on the Friday, it's normally on the Sunday. Terry Savalas, where was the military affair video on YouTube showing the HJ dagger with saw teeth and said 12th Panzer Division? I don't know. I must look up that show on YouTube and have a look around, see what it's like. So guys, have a good one. Enjoy yourselves. I'll see you all next week. At some point in time, whether it be Friday or Sunday. Stay safe throughout the week and have a good time, guys. And I'll see you all next week.